Aaron.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say it the first time I said Aaron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron.
You done messed up, Aaron!
Aaron is here, everyone. Welcome back for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. We're doing SPTV late night edition. I very much wanted to get this message out there. Guys, we need to save FLAVIO LUGLI. We need to rescue FLAVIO LUGLI from Scientology's biggest base in the world, the Flag Land Base, located in Clearwater, Florida, where I live. This is sort of, I guess you could say, in part, a request for information about FLAVIO and his health from all you beautiful under-the-radar Scientologists out there. And also, I guess, a little warning to the Office of Special Affairs that we will be making a very, very big stink about FLAVIO all over downtown Clearwater until you guys have no choice but to let FLAVIO's parents, Claudio and Renata, speak with FLAVIO. I'm going to share with you guys some photographs. I'm going to share with you just some information that FLAVIO's father, Claudio, sent to me today. My understanding is I don't think Claudio and his wife Renata have heard from their son in over 10 years. Now, their son is an adult. I think by now he's about 48 years old. But this was a very, very close family. And, you know, on my channel, one of the things I say over and over again is Scientology is a multi-billion-dollar international family-destroying human trafficking cult. Emphasis on family destroying. In the real world, family members choose not to speak with each other for all sorts of reasons. But in Scientology, family members don't speak to each other simply because Scientology orders them not to. So let me just show you. I'll start with a very recent photo of FLAVIO. Well, I mean, it's the photo that I used in the thumbnail of this video, but here it is. There's FLAVIO. FLAVIO is suffering from a medical condition called hyperthyroidism. And that information was delivered to the family through a Scientologist who had interacted with FLAVIO at the Flag Land Base not that long ago. FLAVIO's parents have tried to get a wellness check done on him at least 3 times. That effort has produced no results. Renata and Claudio even tried to go the official route by using Scientology channels and going to the Office of Special Affairs in Italy to officially try to cooperatively ask for Scientology's help in getting them information about FLAVIO. That did not go well. In fact, Scientology just made legal threats against FLAVIO's parents that if they continued to try and make contact with their son, they would be taken to court. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Let me show you some really interesting photographs of FLAVIO. So here we have FLAVIO with Kirstie Alley, a very young FLAVIO with a very exuberant Kirstie Alley. Okay. Golly gee, what do we have here? Another photo with FLAVIO and Kirstie Alley. Little handsy, Kirstie. Little handsy. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm sure it was, you know, all above board on the up and up. Okay, this is a fascinating photo, guys. Who do we have there on the top left? Tommy Davis. Okay, who do we have next to Tommy Davis? We have Claudio LUGLI, FLAVIO's father. Next to Claudio, we have, I forgot about this guy, Eduardo Palomo. Eduardo Palomo was an incredibly famous singer in Mexico, and he and his wife, Karina Rico, received Scientology's highest award, the IAS Freedom Medal, for spreading the word about Scientology in Mexico and throughout Latin America. Unfortunately, Scientology did not do much for Eduardo. He dropped dead of a heart attack in a restaurant at the age of 41. By the way, I'm not sure if Karina Rico is still a Scientologist. I checked online. You know, the AI bots tell me that she is. But if anyone has any information about Karina Rico, please hit me up at growingupinscientology@gmail.com. Okay, who do we have next to Eduardo Palomo? I believe that is the president of the Celebrity Center International at the time. And then, of course, we have Kirstie Alley. Below Kirstie Alley, we once again have FLAVIO. Why is Kirstie Alley always so handsy with Flavio? What is going on there? And then front and center, we have Flavio's brother, Tiziano. And so there you go. There's a photo. We are going to go to, here's another photo of Flavio at a Sea Org Day celebration. You know, I wonder what year this photo was taken, because I very much recognize his wife. Then we have a more recent than that photo of him and his wife. This might be his second wife. I'm not sure if they are still married or not. And then we have a 2009 photo of Flavio. Very handsome gentleman. And then we have the most recent photo that his parents have of him. And again, this looks like it was taken from a Scientology promo. So Flavio is approximately 48 years old. He works at the Scientology base in downtown Clearwater, Florida. His job is Superpower Auditor. Superpower is a series of Scientology auditing actions that are designed to help you enhance your senses. Not 5 senses, but there's like 40-something senses that L. Ron Hubbard came up with. And when you finish this auditing action, you attest to the state of having achieved these superpowers, of having these magical senses. Senses like detecting the saline content of your own cells. It's a very weird sense to have. Flavio's job is to deliver the superpower auditing actions to paying Scientologists. There's just one problem with being a superpower auditor. Scientology has basically run out of people to deliver superpower to. The giant Scientology building in downtown Clearwater, Scientology calls it the Flag Building, but back in the day, it was known as the Superpower Building. And Scientologists were told that these superpower auditing rundowns were so special and powerful that a whole new giant specialized building needed to be constructed in order for this auditing action to be released and available to the public. So I think that building was opened in 2014. You guys can double check me on this, but I think it opened in 2014. That is the first time the superpower rundowns were ever made available to Scientologists. Well, there's only about 30,000 Scientologists in the world, and pretty much every Scientologist qualifies to receive the superpower auditing actions. It costs about $35,000 to do it. And Scientology had been pre-selling superpower for like 20 to 30 years in order to raise enough money to build the building. I mean, they raised like $300 million or something ridiculous. And so when they opened up the building, they already had a giant queue of Scientologists who had already paid for this thing. And there was now like 100 auditors lined up waiting to deliver superpower to all the people who had paid for it. So the lowest hanging fruit of the people to deliver were the people who'd already paid for it. And then you had any new Scientologists who hadn't yet paid for it. Anyway, long story short, guys, I have heard stories of superpower auditors sitting around with nothing to do because there's no one to deliver to. And that superpower auditors were literally being taken off post and reassigned to other jobs. In some cases, bathroom cleaners, because there was just nothing for them to do. So the thing about Flavio and why I think it's really important to put attention on Flavio is one of these Sea Org members who David Miscavige would almost certainly refuse to allow to leave even if he wanted to, just to get back at his parents. Kind of like Benjamin Rinder. Benjamin Rinder, this is after Mike Rinder had left the Sea Org, after Mike Rinder was publicly speaking out. Benjamin Rinder wanted to leave the Sea Org. Benjamin Rinder was asking to leave the Sea Org. He was trying to leave the Sea Org. David Miscavige wouldn't let him go just to spite Mike Rinder. Now you might go, Aaron, what do you mean wouldn't let him go? I thought Sea Org members had to work there for life. Sea Org members leave the Sea Org all the time. I'm an example of that. One of the most prominent Sea Org members recently to leave the Sea Org is a man named Charlie Bills. I mentioned him in one of my videos yesterday. I found out that not only has Charlie Bills left the Sea Org, he lives here in Clearwater, Florida. He has an apartment at Station Square in downtown Clearwater. So Sea Org members, even well-known Sea Org members, are allowed to leave. I suspect that if Flavio wanted to leave, David Miscavige would not let him. So that's one of the things I wanted to ask any under the radar Scientologists or recently departed ex-Sea Org members to share information with me so that I can pass it on to his parents. Is FLAVIO trying to leave the Sea Org? Has he in the past wanted to and tried to leave the Sea Org and been prevented? This would be important information to have in requesting the authorities to do a welfare check on him. And it would be important information for his parents to be armed with the next time perhaps they go to the Office of Special Affairs demanding some cooperation and information on their son. So how is FLAVIO doing? How is he doing with his medical condition? Has he tried to leave the Sea Org recently? Is he currently trying to leave the Sea Org? Because we want FLAVIO to know that if he wants to leave, the SPTV Foundation will help him get home and back to his family, who would very much like to reconnect with him and is more than capable of taking care of him and helping him with whatever he needs for the rest of his life. He does not need to spend the rest of his life toiling for a human trafficking cult that doesn't really give a damn about him. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else I wanted to share? No, that's probably it for now, but I hope to share more on this in the near future. Let's just read a handful of starred comments and we will wrap it up. Constance June, were we trying to find him a couple of years ago? I don't think so, Constance. I mean, you may have seen articles about, you may have seen some articles about FLAVIO from his family in various places, but I'm not quite sure anyone was actually like looking for him, if that's what you mean. George Massey, are the Luglis the Italian designer couple that did Dave and Shelley's clothes? Yes, indeed. I'm glad you mentioned that. Claudio Lugli is the ex-Scientologist who, when he was in Scientology, was David Miscavige's tailor and Shelley Miscavige's tailor. And that is actually where some of the photos of Shelley Miscavige come from, where it looks like she's sort of modeling some clothes. It's sort of it's uncharacteristic photos to have of Sea Org members. It looks like she's almost, and that is where the photo came from. It actually came from Claudio and his wife taking photos of clothes they were making for Shelley. Claudio is the source of the information that David Miscavige is 5'1". Okay, that information comes from Claudio. Now, I will tell you, I asked David Miscavige's brother Ronnie if that was true, if Dave was really 5'1", and Ronnie was like, "No, he's not 5'1". I'm like, "Well, how tall is he really?" Because Ronnie himself isn't that tall. I mean, Ronnie's probably 5'9" at most. And it's like, I don't know, normal height for a short person. Like, I don't know, 5'4", 5'5". So anyhow, who knows what David Miscavige's real height is, but we do like to say that he's 5'1", and that information came from Claudio. Okay, Kara goes, does anyone know where he is? Okay, I'm glad you asked because I don't think I specified. Yes, because he's a superpower auditor. His job literally requires him to be in the superpower building. That is the flag building. That is 215 South Fort Harrison Avenue. That is the building we protest outside of every single Friday evening. So I am now going to make it part of my standard repertoire to ask every Sea Org member and every Sea Org security officer that we come in contact with. We're looking for FLAVIO. Please send out FLAVIO. Is FLAVIO okay? FLAVIO's parents would like to reach him. Does FLAVIO need medical care? We are going to be such a pain in Osa's ass when it comes to FLAVIO Lugli. They're going to have no choice but to send him out of Clearwater and send him back to Italy to his parents. Farrell Cheryl says, ooh, I bet he feels icky. Oh, from the hyperthyroidism. Yes. Power lies to paralyze. Another Scientologist with a thyroid issue. Constance June, FLAVIO, if you're watching, please leave and call your parents. Oh, power lies to paralyze. Superpower equals super disassociation. Maria Robinson, this is so sad. And Gina, hello, friends. FLAVIO, his parents love him so much. Yes, indeed. Okay, guys, short and sweet, short little episode of SPTV Late Night Edition. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not,